Okay, so all the parts are off the sprue. So we'll start with the horizontals, verticals. Same again, Revell contactor. Just run it near the edge. And the attachment pins. And then because we've got this little fin here, we can actually just hold that and set it down on that. You'll feel when you click and you get it into location. I actually don't think we need to use any extra thin on that because I've got enough glue that it's starting to pass the seam. So there's one. Get this side ready. And they are really rather nicely moulded parts. I'm very impressed. So follow that around. Right, hold it over and set it down. And that's gone perfectly in alignment straight away. So just gently pinch around the edge. There we go. And it'll be much the same for the horizontal stabilizers. So just check to see where I need to put the glue and where I don't need to put the glue, because I don't want to get glue all over my fingers and then put it all over the model. So we don't need to glue these bits here. What we can do is put a little bit of extra thin once they come together. Need to do a little bit of trimming here where we've cut off a sprue point, just so we get a nice flush fit. Right, so we'll take this edge here, we can hold it in the middle, we'll go along here, and the location point, turn, and there we go. As I said, I do like using Revell contactor for larger seams, purely because you get a really good strong bond. So place that part down, make sure it is in the locating tabs, which it isn't quite. You feel it click when it goes in. They're really, really nice big tabs, or pins and sockets. So they are actually dropping together really quite nicely. So pinch the trailing and leading edge just to make sure they're bonded. Don't get glue on your finger, you end up with glue prints everywhere. And then what we can do is we'll just come in here with the quick setting and we'll brush it into there just to bond the center. Little squeeze. Happy with that? Yeah, it's good. And then we need to think about getting, you see that in the light, I can see Revell's writing in there, so we've got copyright Revell 2011. You just take a knife and gently letting the knife do the work. Gently scrape that away because we don't want that on a model. And then with the sand and sponge we can come in and just buff that away. As if it was never there. For scraping I also like using these little round edged knives, and that's purely because you can control where the contact point to the plastic is. And again, I'll just buff it up with a sanding sponge. This is a really old sanding sponge, so it doesn't take a huge amount of plastic away with it. And that's not too bad. A bit more work there later and that'll be fine. Anyway, right, so that's the right way up. These fins will only go on one way. We can pop that on there. We can pop that on there. And then we'll run some extra thin on that and make sure we get a nice right angle joint. But what we can do, now we're getting this far, before we start committing to paint, is if I find the sprue that's got the wing spar on it, which is this one here. What we can do is we can do a bit of a mock-up and see how it all goes together. And this has been pretty much real time, so you can see how quickly this kit is going to go together. We've got the wings, fuselage, tail all assembled, ready to go, and that's taken us about half an hour or so. So I actually think this kit would turn into being a bit of a mojo builder if you're needing something that's going to go together without any fuss. If you're kind of stressed or anything like that, or you just want a nice, easy, simple, enjoyable build, I really do think this kit is possibly fitting that bill. Right, we get some bits of tape cut so we can stick stuff together. I'm not going to bother fitting the cockpit at the moment, but we will put the centre wing spar in. There's a bit of a dihedral on that, which is fine. We'll slot that in there, push it through, it goes nicely. Again, it's just another thing to help locate that kit together. Right, get some tape on the top here. Get some tape on the bottom here. Get some tape on the back here. And we'll need a little bit of tape under the bottom here. So there's our fuselage. So there we go, fuselage halves together. Fit the tail on. That is a nice fit, very snug. That is going to lock. Really is tight, actually. Why is that like that? I'm missing something here. No. Right, that is just a really tight fit. There we go. So it's got to go in pretty well. But it's in. Wow, look at that. So that's really going to lock itself together. Get that on there. Really quite impressed with this moulding. So that goes on there like so. This is where I'm going to need a wider camera angle to fit this all in. Certainly for painting anyway. Right, that locates nicely into the fuselage. That's a good strong join as well. And the spar in there that does set a really good angle. And that locks in there. So there we go. Yeah. So that is a mock-up of our model, and what I'll do is I'll take some photographs so we can see it a bit further away, but that's about half an hour's work, and we've got a full mock-up of the wings and fuselage, and that's quite a big plane as well. What we're looking at, we're looking at wingtip to wingtip, you're looking roughly 41.5 centimeters, nearly 42 centimeters, nearly. That's, you know, that's a big aircraft. It's a big model. Yeah, it's a big model indeed. So I think that's a really good point to leave this video off. Next video we will look at getting the rest of the construction done. So we'll build the nacelles up and we'll look at the initial painting. In fact, we'll probably look at the initial painting first. Get the cockpit done so we can put the fuselage together, and then whilst that's drying we'll look at the engine nacelles, engines, and yeah, getting this thing into paint. But I don't think we're going to be far away from getting this into paint. I'm really quite impressed. Right, so if you've got any questions, pop them down below. I'll take time to read them and answer them, and I appreciate everyone who takes time to pop a question in. Obviously, if you like what you see here, please like and subscribe. Do appreciate that. And until next time, guys, stay safe, happy modelling.